Congressman Thaddeus McCotter, who was just at AIG CEO Liddy's hearing, he joins us from Washington, D.C. Now, Congressman, you're against TARP. Why? And what are the alternatives?
Well, the House Republicans at the time had come forward with a proposal in replace of TARP, that instead of using the taxpayer bailout model, we had wanted to have private insurance provisions available. We also talked about debt for equity swaps, such as people like Luigi Zingales, a professor at the University of Chicago, have talked about, to provide liquidity and stability within these banks without having to go into the model of the taxpayer bailout. So there was an alternative. Unfortunately, this was not pursued. The administration and both Republicans and Democrats decided that they wanted to go with the bailout model. One of the problems that we've also seen for people like myself who opposed it was we thought that the TARP, the toxic asset removal that they were talking about, was not going to work. And actually, ironically, of all people, Secretary Paulson, in reversing course and going to recapitalization of financial institutions model in lieu of removing toxic assets, actually proved our point. Now what we have is a situation where you see continuing changes of course in terms of how to deal with the financial crisis. With investors on the sidelines, one of the things that they want before they put private capital in is certainty and a decision as to how we're going to proceed from here, and we've yet to see that.
We heard from one viewer who said taxpayers are also angry because even foreign banks like Goldman Sachs and Deutsche are getting U.S. taxpayers' money. Why should Americans bail out non-U.S. banks as well? Why can't their respective countries bail them out? Your thoughts on that, Congressman?
Well, I think Americans, when you remember how the Wall Street bailout came about, is one day you went to work and then by the time you came home, the President of the United States was on TV telling the economic future as you knew it was going to perish unless a bill was passed spending $700 billion of their money. Now, when that was done, we were told that credit would flow to American consumers again, that we would be able to try to pick up and recover as quickly as possible from the precipice of a potential global depression. But as Americans have watched this process go forward, much like those private investors who are sitting on the sidelines, they've seen no certainty as to how the plan will proceed from here. They've seen veers and changes. And one of the things, again, they did not see was their own credit being freed up to the way they thought it was going to be. So when they hear about money going overseas to pay off foreign bondholders or foreign banks, it incenses them because they do not feel that, one, they've been equitably treated in terms of their taxpayer investment in institutions that give out bonuses to their employees, and two, they have not felt the effects of a freeing of the credit market that they believe they were told, and I believe they were told as well.
Some are calling for Geithner to step down. Do you agree?
I think it's far too early to do that. That's why, again, we did the resolution of inquiry to find out what was happening within the government at the time that this instance occurred regarding the bonuses, how it could have been prevented, why it wasn't. And again, Secretary Geithner serves with the pleasure and with the confidence of the President of the United States. No one has accused him of any malfeasance in this instance, which would require people calling for his head. I say let's go through, let's do an orderly due diligence study of what happened within government, what went wrong, and then we can allow determinations to be made then.
Congressman Thaddeus McCotter, thank you so much for your time today. Now, in other